casket wasn't the only thing you took from Jotunheim that day, was it?
No.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the movie villains who won us over. We're not saying the characters on this list are good people or justified in their behavior. We're just saying that points were made. Also, spoilers ahead.
I was happy, floating, staring at the stars.
Number 10, Syndrome's Monologue, The Incredibles.
I mean, after all,
I am your biggest fan.
Buddy?
We're actually pretty sympathetic to Syndrome's villain origin. He was crushed when his favorite hero, Mr. Incredible, treated him like a nuisance when all he wanted was to be a superhero like him. After growing up, he returns as Syndrome, a supervillain with the power to finally best all the heroes he once idolized.
I'll give them heroics. I'll give them the most spectacular heroics anyone's ever seen!
His philosophy boils down to the belief that no one should be put on a pedestal. A lot of heartache could have been avoided if Mr. Incredible would have just been kinder to a young kid who admired him. Then you remember that Syndrome's been offing supers, and you become a lot less empathetic.
And when everyone's super, no one will be.
Number 9. Hummel addresses his men, The Rock.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're being detained against your will. For that, I apologize.
We first meet General Francis Hummel when he visits his wife's grave and asks her not to think less of him for what he's about to do. The movie then finds Hummel leading a group of renegade soldiers taking over Alcatraz with a load of deadly weapons aimed right at San Francisco.
Mr. Director, you have a very serious problem. A battery of VX gas rockets is presently deployed to deliver a highly lethal strike on the population of the San Francisco Bay Area.
Hummel's distrust of the government rings true. He is finally hitting back at his superior's carelessness with the lives of its soldiers. The rest of the movie proves him to be a noble man in spite of everything. Even this early into the movie, Hummel sounds more like a whistleblower than a traitor. Ed Harris's powerful performance also makes his insane plot feel justified.
Well, I have choked on these lies my entire career. Well, here and now, the lies stop!
Number 8. Poison Ivy Gets Her Revenge, Batman and Robin.
Hello, Jason. I think I've had a change of heart.
In one of the most ridiculous superhero movies ever made, what choice do we have but to root for the villains? Gotham's environmentalist femme fatale starts this misbegotten sequel as a nerdy, socially awkward scientist. After her creeper boss tries to kill her with some hazardous biochemicals, she revives as the toxic and seductive Poison Ivy.
Hi there.
And you are...
Poison. Poison Ivy.
With her newfound poisonous kiss, she immediately gives her boss a taste of his own medicine. As far as Batman's supervillains go, we're not mad at Poison Ivy. Yes, she's a murderer, but at least she cares about the environment.
Why are all the gorgeous ones homicidal maniacs? Is it me?
Number 7. Mr. Hector's Patience, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
With all due respect, madam, your son is lost in one of the biggest cities in the world.
Honestly, Kate and Peter McAllister have a lot of nerve. They're the ones who accidentally left for a vacation without their young son twice, but the staff of New York's famous Plaza Hotel are to blame? Although the Wet Bandits are the main villains, Kevin spends a lot of time outsmarting and outrunning the staff of the hotel he's conned into giving him a room.
Hold it right there.
This is the concierge, sir.
I knew it was you.
Tim Curry's concierge has spent the past several days being terrorized by the McAllister's son. If anything, they should be giving him the fattest tip for showing as much restraint as he did.
I love you. You gotta do better than that. I love you.
Number 6. Count Dooku's Warning, Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
What if I told you that the Republic was now under the control of the Dark Lord of the Sith?
No, that's not possible.
By virtue of being a prequel, we know how a lot of the story in the Star Wars prequel trilogy ends. The Emperor is sewing the fabric of his oppressive empire right under the Jedi Order's noses. Episode 2's big bad, Count Dooku, is a disillusioned Jedi who's grown skeptical of his fellow knights' influence in the galaxy.
Hundreds of senators are now under the influence of a Sith Lord called Darth Sidious.
I don't believe you.
Although he is actually working with the Sith, Dooku is absolutely right when he tells Obi-Wan Kenobi that the dark side has already invaded the Galactic Senate. Obi-Wan denies it, his hubris getting in the way. By the end of the next movie, however, he'll know just how right Dooku is.
It may be difficult to secure your release.
Number 5. Joker's Monologue, The Dark Knight.
There's no going back. You've changed things. Forever. And why do you want to kill me? I don't want to kill you. What would I do without you?
In this scene, Batman finds himself listening to the Joker's musings on human behavior. The latter's warped sense of morality and general nihilism about the world clearly strikes a chord with the Caped Crusader. According to the Joker, he and Batman need each other.
See, their morals, their code. It's a bad joke. Dropped at the first sign of trouble.
To him, heroes and villains are all the same. They're outcasts who will be thrown to the wolves when they're no longer needed. The most profound and disturbing thing about his monologue is that it makes sense. What will the people of Gotham do when the chips are down? Luckily, the movie proves him wrong, but he has you for a minute there.
See, I'm not a monster. I'm just ahead of the curve.
Number 4. The Wicked Witch's short end of the bargain, The Wizard of Oz.
Aren't you forgetting the ruby slippers? The slippers. Yes, the slippers.
This movie is a classic fairy tale. Applying things like logic and reality just takes all the fun out of it. But you do have to wonder how you would feel if the person whose house crushed your sister then stole her shoes for no reason other than another witch told her to. It isn't until we find out Dorothy always had the power to go home that we start to think about how the Wicked Witch got a raw deal.
I should have thought of it for you. I should have felt it in my heart.
No, she had to find it out for herself.
Who's to say how things would have played out if Glinda, the so-called Good Witch, hadn't suggested Dorothy keep the slippers? Unfortunately, we'll never know. Dorothy melted her and the entire Kingdom of Oz cheered.
Oh, what a world, what a world! Who thought a good little girl like you could destroy my beautiful wickedness? Ah,
Number 3. When Ken Tries to Kill Barry, B-movie.
Remember what Vance said? Why is your life any more valuable than mine?
That's funny, I just can't seem to recall that!
In the pantheon of baffling decisions, B-movie Getting the Green Light is near the top of the list. It's about Barry B. Benson, a bee who sues the human race. But the star of the show is really Ken. Portrayed as a guy with some anger issues, Ken ends up trying to kill Barry because he, let us just check our notes here, is trying to steal Ken's girlfriend, who's a human.
You know what? I don't even like honey! I don't eat it!
We need to talk. He's just a little bee.
And the crazy thing is, it's kinda true. Ken's girlfriend, Vanessa, is actually flirting really hard with this bee. Between just how weird the whole ordeal is and how annoying Barry is, you really can't be too hard on Ken. Imagine how you'd feel if your love rival was an insect.
What are you talking about? Are there other bugs in your life?
No, but there are other things bugging me in life, and you're one of them.
Number 2. Killmonger's backstory, Black Panther.
What did I tell you about going into my things?
Wakanda is a utopian nation hidden in the middle of Africa, whose advanced technology is miles ahead of the rest of the world. Eric Killmonger's father was cast out because he did not agree with Wakanda's isolationist policy. Haunted by his deceased father's exile, Killmonger adopts the belief that Wakanda should announce itself to the world and share its resources.
Well, look at what I've done. I should have taken you back long ago. Instead, we are both abandoned here.
His methods prove extreme, to say the least. However, his message is heard. Even the hero ends up siding with the villain in a way. The film ends after Killmonger's death, with T'Challa, the Black Panther himself, making Wakanda's presence known on the world stage for the first time.
My pop said Wakanda was the most beautiful thing you ever seen. He promised he was going to show it to me one day.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Like Tears in the Rain, Blade Runner.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
No matter which version of Ridley Scott's sci-fi masterpiece you watch, Roy Batty wins you over. The movie follows Rick Deckard, a former officer tasked with tracking down and killing 4 escaped humanoid androids. One of them, Roy Batty, has developed a sense of emotional depth that puts him on par with any human. So, while our hero hunts him down, it becomes clear that Batty is not a monster. He's a man-made machine who has become hungry to understand his place in the world. His final scene, where he gives a heartbreaking speech about his memories becoming lost once he dies, make it impossible not to feel for him.
All those moments will be lost in time. Like tears in rain.
What movie villain did you find yourself rooting for? Tell us in the comments.
You could have told me what I was from the beginning. Why didn't you?
You're my son. I wanted only to protect you from the truth.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.